Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this session I am going to discuss on the clustering algorithms in machine learning. Like classification, clustering algorithms also tries to classify the data not with the known labels but with the unknown labels, which are going to get discovered later by this algorithm. So clustering is an unsupervised machine learning task which involves automatic discovering of natural groups in data. And this technique can be utilized for a given set of data points where we can classify each data point into a specific group. Okay, so one among the well-known clustering algorithm what we are going to consider today is k-means algorithm. So this k-means algorithm allows you to cluster your data, and it is also considered as a tool to discover the categories and groups in a data set we have. Okay, so in this picture it is very clear that we have a scatter plot based on these two variables in the data set, and this is how our observations are configured according to these variables. So the question here is, can we identify certain groups among our variables, and how would we go about doing it? Right, so we can consider this as one group, this as second group, this as third group, or sometimes we can also consider this as one single group and this as the second group. Okay, by looking at the picture we can consider there are two groups or there can be three groups. So this is where the k-means algorithms plays. So it will takes out the complexity from this decision making process and allows you to classify and easily identify those clusters of data points in your data set in this way. Okay, this is the final output what we are going to get once we applied k-means algorithm for this observations. Okay, so it is very clear that from this observation k-means algorithm has successfully able to identify three clusters among this based on some mathematical equations. Okay, so now let us try to understand the step-by-step procedure on how it works. This is the algorithm for k-means here. The step 1 says to choose a number of clusters. Okay, primarily we have to choose n number of clusters. In step 2 we have to select at random k points, those are the centroids which are not necessarily from your data set. Later on we have to assign that each data point to the closest centroid which may form k clusters. In step 4 we try to compute and place the new centroid of each cluster, and finally based on step 4 we will reassign each data point to the new closest centroid, and if any reassignment took place we have to repeat the step 4, otherwise we will come out of that loop and we will develop our model. Okay, now let us try to understand this algorithm based on the values. Okay, let us now assume the number of clusters what we are going to take, k is equal to 2. Okay, so let's say we somehow identified that the optimal number of cluster equal to, usually what we do means we apply the mechanism of elbow method through which it is going to give us the details like how much clusters will be required, how many clusters we can make from the given observations. So as of now let us try to assume that the number k of clusters is 2. Okay, and in step 2 we try to select at random k points the centroids which are not necessarily from your data set. So what that means is they can be actual points in your data set or they can just be some random points on your scatter plot. Okay, so later on we jump into the step 3 and we try to assign each data point to the closest centroid that forms k clusters. Okay, so basically for every data points in our data set we need to identify which of the centroids are blue and red which are closer. Okay, so for example you can see these are the data points which are closer to the blue than the red, and these are few data points which are closer to red than the blue. So you can see very clear that those data points uh, are very closer to blue, and some of the data points are very closer to the red. Okay, now based on that, what we do means we try to identify the right data points to the respective groups. Okay, so what we do means we try to uh, identify the right data points based on some geometrical trick here. So like what we do means we try to connect these two centroids. Okay, we try to connect these two centroids by a line, and then we will find the center of this line. Then we'll find the center of the line, and we'll put a perpendicular line, exactly through the center of the line. Okay, and from geometry we know that any point on these green lines, you can see this green line, right? Any point on this green line, it will be equidistant from the blue and red. It is equidistant from the blue and red, and so based on that, it is obvious that any data points which are above the this green line will be considered as the blue category, and those the data points which are below this green line will be considered for the red category. This is how we are trying to identify the data points to the respective centroids. So in step 4, we try to compute and place the new centroid of each cluster. That means basically right now we got the new points, all the blue ones, okay, all the blue ones, and all the red ones excluding the centroids, and we have to find out where the actual centroid is. Okay, we have to find out actual centroid is. Okay, based on this centroid we came to know that these data points belong to blue category and these data points belong to red category. Right, now we have to compute and place the new centroid. Now how are we going to compute this new centroid? It is also purely based on some mathematical equations. Okay, some geometrical equations we can find out, okay, where the actual centroid is and the new centroid for the blue points and red points exist. Okay, so we will try to apply some basic maths and find out the new centroid based on the scatter plot here. So this is a scatter plot for blue, this is a scatter plot for red. So based on this scatter plot, I think this place will be the centroid, and for the blue this will be the centroid. Okay, so after we do that, what we see, we are going to highlight that, and we will reassign all the data points to the new closest centroid. So you can see that in the last picture the centroid has been appeared here, and based on that we can see that there are few new reassignments has been done. Now if there is any reassignment of the data points, we have to repeat the step 4. Okay, we'll go back to step 4, and again what we do means we'll try to draw this line, okay, perpendicular line, and we know that as per the green line, whatever the data points which comes above this green line will be considered as a part of blue, and whatever the data points which are below will be a part of red. Okay, now it is very clear from this picture that these two data points are coming below the green line, and now we are going to reassign it, and we got a new two data points for the red color. Right, so whenever we have reassignments, we have to repeat the step 4. Okay, step 4 we are going to repeat it here, and we will recompute and place the new centroid for each cluster. Since the observations has been changed, now you can see the new cluster has come for in this particular position, and of course based on the existing observation for the red color, we have the new centroid in this position. Okay, now again you go to step 5 and try to reassign each data point to the newest closest centroid. Okay, so based on that, I'll draw one perpendicular line which is equidistant from these two centroids, and of course the same rule will be applied here also. We have to consider all the data points which are above green line to the blue and below the green line to the red, and you can see that few points have been reassigned here. Okay, which are the points reassigned? I can see this point, right, has been reassigned, and of course we have to again go to the step 4 and compute and place the new centroid for each cluster. Of course based on the this observations, the centroid will come in this position. Of course for blue it will come in this position based on the basic mathematics, it is very easy to identify the centroid for the given observations. Okay, and finally again we are going to go for step 5 and try to associate each data points with the respective colors. And of course we got reassignment has been done here, and we have to check if there is any new reassignment taken place. If there is any, we have to go to step 4 here. Okay, so again we had gone to step 4. Why? Because we had seen that there are few data points which have been reassigned. Okay, which is the point here reassigned? This data point, you can see it now, it has been reassigned. So again we have to go to step 4 and recompute the centroid. Now based on the given observation, we have a centroid in this position for both blue and red. Again you go to step 5, draw the perpendicular line and which is equidistant from these two centroids, and try to notice is there any reassignment done for the data points of blue and red. But as of now it is very clear that there is no reassignment done. So if there is no reassignment done, we are just, the algorithm has just completed its operations. So how many number of clusters has been created now? Okay, so this will be the optimal number now. Okay, so this is the group now. So we, based on the given group, so this particular data points belong to the first cluster, these data points belong to the second cluster. Okay, so if you had mentioned the k as 5, then of course you would have got 5 different clusters. The same operations will be applied for that too, right? And finally once your algorithm is over, your model will be ready, and based on the observation it is very clear that you found 2 clusters here. This is how your model will look like after you apply the k-means clustering algorithm. Now we are going to see how are we going to apply this k-means clustering algorithm for a given case study. Okay, so let me explain the data set now. So the data set we are going to use for this study is mall customers, wherein each row corresponds to the customers of a mall, and each of these customers have customer ID and gender, okay, age, annual income and spending score here. Okay, so you can see here the spending score, this is actually a metric which is made by the mall to measure how much each customer spends in the mall. Okay, so they made this matrix which takes value from 1 to 100. There you can see it clearly, 1 to 100, such that the lower score, the lesser the customer spends, and the higher the score, the more the customer spends. So they just want to provide some identify and analyze such customers who are visiting their mall, and to give them a little bit more offers, okay, so that they can spend more and more time in the mall. So now we don't have any dependent variable vector here. As you can see in my earlier lecture, especially during classification, we had a matrix of feature x which are called as independent variable, and also we have a dependent variable vector which we are going to classify at the end of the algorithm. But at this point of time in k-means clustering algorithm, we don't have any dependent variable vector. So we will consider this spending score as is also as a one of the feature to identify the clusters here. Okay, and of course this customer ID is of no use, because we will try to eliminate that customer ID, because it is not going to participate in this study. And of course since we would like to visualize these clusters, so what we are going to do means we will be considering only 2 attributes which are annual income and spending score. Okay, so this is the case study we are taken, and we are going to apply k-means clustering algorithm to solve this problem. Okay, so this is the data set, and we have 200 instances of data. Okay, altogether we have 200 instances of data, wherein we have customer ID, gender, age, annual income and spending score here. Okay, and spending score is rated from 1 to 100. The higher the number, that means this particular male of age 21 and annual income $15,000 will spend more time in the mall. Okay, and there are few other people like okay, you can see this, a female who is 35 years old and earning $18,000 will spend a very less time in the mall. Now they have to target few customers here. So what can be done further so that we can increase their spending score, okay, in the mall. That is the case study been given. So based on these data, we'll try to apply this K-mean clustering algorithm and decide and make few groups here. Okay, we'll try to discover few groups. Let us see this particular person will join which particular group, and this person will join which other groups. Okay, also we will try to implement this using Python, and to do that we are going to import all the libraries which are required. Later on we will try to import the data set. Then we will use the very important method called as elbow method. As I already mentioned, this method is used to find the optimal number of clusters. Okay, because while explaining the algorithm I said that the number of cluster k equal to 2, that is a manual. Okay, that we were just trying to pretend some value, but actual value what we are going to get it from the elbow method. Okay, then we will use we will try to train the k-means model on the given data set, and finally we will visualize the clusters. Okay, that's the reason to visualize the clusters we require only two-dimensional, but as per the data set you can see we have total 5 parameters. Okay, so what I do means I will take only the important two features, that is annual income and spending score. Okay, I don't have any dependent variable vector here, so I will take these two as the independent vector matrix of features. Okay, and I will discard these three attributes because I know that this three will not contribute more to my model. Okay, so I will consider only annual income and spending score as x and y so that I can clearly visualize the clusters. Okay, so alright, that was the introductory session on K-means algorithm, and in my next tutorial we will start with the very first step, which is data pre-processing phase, and then we will create a model using K-means algorithm. Okay, so until then, happy learning and thanks for watching this video.